Christian fascists are in power. We are in another dark age, but that doesn't mean you have to age. Aveeno Butter Avocado and Prune Skin Lotion is here. Just because a death cult of right-wing loonies run the place doesn't mean we have to look tired. Aveeno. It's almost over.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, Apocalypse Soon. And now, put your hands together and make it loud for your host, Mr. Eddie Pepitone.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Apocalypse Soon. It is a beautiful day to talk about the end. The end is coming so soon. And Chipotle has your back. That's right. With the apocalypse, Chipotle has agreed, in association with Mount Sinai Hospital right in downtown Los Angeles or West Hollywood. It doesn't matter where the hospitals are anymore. You know why? Because we're goddamn done. And let's introduce right now our band leader, Bobby and the Mephistophelians.
Whoa, 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 whoa. How's it going there, Eddie?
It is going so badly, Bobby. But, we're used to that, right?
That's absolutely right. You know, you look up, I go, hey, look, the sun's still out, right? You know, stay on the positives, Eddie. You know, I
really
stay
do.
up.
You really know how to flip reality on its ass. I remember seeing you in a wrestling match with Reality. This is before I knew you.
Oh, yeah.
You and Reality were in the ring, and Reality was kicking your ass.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, you just flip Reality on its ass, and that's what you do by
That's what I got to do.
Looking on the positive side.
You got to stay positive. Look, our rights are depleting every day. Look, every morning I get up, I go, oh, another right gone. Fantastic. Yeah. But then, you know what I do? And then I remember, I can't afford my pills. And I go, oh, that's right, my diseases. They're progressing.
Your diseases?
They keep progressing.
Yeah.
I call the healthcare, and I go, please. They go, nope. No more rights, no pills. But then I go outside, Eddie, and you know what I see? I see a puppy taking a piss on a bush. And I say, thank you, God, for another beautiful day.
I love puppies.
Me too.
You know, I love puppies. I love birdies. I love little birdies. And one thing that's nice here in Los Angeles, Southern California, is that we get a lot of hummingbirds.
Oh, yeah. I love a hummingbird.
Oh, they call them hummingbirds because if you really get close to one, they're always humming a tune, usually something like, Strangers in the Night. They're
I love
Strangers in the Night by Sinatra.
Beautiful.
My mother used to listen to Strangers in the Night all the time. And at one point, I just confronted her. I was a toddler. And I was like, who are you meeting in the evening? Because all I would hear in the house was Strangers in the Night. It's so, I mean, like, and
so
I was
enticing.
Like, you keep telling me, Mama, not to talk to strangers, yet you keep playing this song. Strange. Did you ever have anything like that growing up, Bobby?
Oh, absolutely. My dad used to listen to, you remember Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Oh, yeah.
My dad, he would get obsessed. He'd stand by the record player and he'd go, I'm going to slow it down to the perfect tone so I can get the original actor's actual voice for the Chipmunks. And then Dave Seville would come in and he'd listen and he'd say, Dave's voice is too low, but the Chipmunk's voice is not perfect. And I'm telling you, I would look at him, I go, Papa, I bring the glove, I go, toss the ball with your boy, please. Please, Papa. And he'd go, I got to figure out the Chipmunks.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then.
As soon as I'm done figuring this Chipmunks record out.
We are so injured, folks. Let's get Kevin. Speaking of injured, and I'm talking about psychically damaged and physically damaged. I woke up with, let's get Kevin Tinkin in, our producer. Kevin, come on in, babe.
Hello, good to see you.
Good
Very
to
glad
see
to be
you.
here.
Good to see you, Kevin. And, Bobby, brought up, emotional damage. And I immediately thought, let's get Kevin in.
I mean, I'm right there. I'm on the on ramp of emotional damage.
Yeah.
You know, and
we
I
all
appreciate
are.
that.
We're all emotionally damaged. We're badly damaged.
Yes.
I'm so emotionally damaged.
How emotionally damaged are you?
I am so emotionally damaged that I have made a career out of it. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about you.
Yes. I am so emotionally damaged that I'm able to make money off it.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I still, and that's part of my emotional damage. Like, I don't make a great deal of money.
Sure.
Because I'm emotionally damaged, and I usually somehow self-sabotage it. Like, lately, I've just been giving the finger to Netflix, and I tell them, because they rejected my special without even looking at it. They gave me, the last one that won the New York Times Best Special in 2020. They wouldn't even look at it. They're like, oh, sorry, but Eddie doesn't appeal to our demo, which means, fuck you, Eddie. We're not interested in you. And when someone tells me they're not interested in me, you know what my reaction is? My reaction is, no, not fuck me, fuck you. I'm a fighter. I am a fighter, folks. I grew up in Brooklyn, and then we moved to Staten Island, which kind of took the fight out of me because it was so deadening in a way.
Really?
Staten Island. Well, it was good up until when I was about 14.
Yeah.
And then I got very bored, but I got back into this city pretty quickly. But I had to live, some formative years in Staten Island.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy. It was like a hick town. Now, you grew up in Fresno.
I did. Yeah. It was nice. I mean, I got.
I think you're kind of Stockholm syndrome because I don't hear Fresno is nice. I was in Fresno once.
Yeah?
It was the summer, and
God.
I walked like a mile and a half to a bookstore.
Yeah.
And I had a gig that night, and then I had to walk a mile and a half back to the hotel. And I didn't realize how hot.
It's insane. Yeah, in the summer, it gets incredibly hot, and in the winter, it gets very cold. It's a desert. I mean, it's absolutely a desert. But, I mean, I got chased by a lot of kids, and there was a lot of that time.
I hate when you start talking about getting chased by children. We all get chased by children. Okay, and they are brutal. Kids are brutal. Now
really
you're
are.
talking about when you were a kid.
When I was a child, yeah.
Chased by. Don't think I'm not following you.
I appreciate that.
And don't think I'm not following you, folks. I hear everybody's thoughts, and we all hear each other's thoughts. That's called the collective unconscious. We hear everybody's thoughts. And since America is so insane, we are collectively insane. Now, Kevin is talking about being chased by children. I get chased by children even now.
As an adult.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about me. I think it's because I'm a big child and they sense that. And their children always run behind me going, you never grow up. No, I swear to God, children always run behind me and go, you avoid responsibility. How come you take a lot of bills and just put them away and say, I'll get to that? And these are kids yelling at me going, you're afraid of intimacy, they yell at me.
These kids have a pretty strong grasp on adult issues. They
That's true. Well, kids grow up. Kids grow up very fast now because of climate breakdown, fascism, encroaching on it. By the way, folks, this was a very bad week. The Supreme Court apparently is run by ghouls, by fucking ghouls. These right-wing Christian evangelical people who are on the Supreme Court. They are just such intellectual fucking morons. They just want the world to end. This is Now you have a little background too. in religion.
Yeah.
And it's like they really want the world to end.
Yeah,
They want the world to end. Am I right that there is?
Yes.
There's
a whole sect of Christians that will try to push things forward so that the end times of Revelation happen.
Right.
So there's things like they gotta basically tear down the temple in Jerusalem. There's all these different like prophecies that they're like that people subscribe to. It's like this stuff has to happen, and one of them is
how much is that subscription?
Oh, it's very cheap. They're evangelicals.
By the way, I laugh at that because I love wordplay, folks. And as we're talking about the fact that our country has been taken over by Christian fascists, which, by the way, these people need to be integrated into the economy. They want the end to come. This is an analysis by Chris Hedges that I just, trumpet. They want the end to come. Because their lives have really been painful and ruined, a lot of them, seriously.
Yeah.
And so they want to destroy the world that basically destroyed them. But we have a great show today. We have a great show today. I'm glad you came. It's not going to be pretty. It never is. It never is pretty, okay? The only thing that's pretty is the way I take care of my skin.
That's absolutely right.
All right. You looking forward to the show?
I'm looking so forward to the show. Eddie, every time I come in here, I'm telling you, I hear explosions and animals fighting outside of my window every night. And I can't sleep. Fighting. And it's brutal, but I have this ray of sunshine in this show every week. And I know a lot of our viewers feel the same way.
They do. And become a Patreon member, folks, to show your love. It's patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. What's funny about the Patreon page is that it tells you who is pledging, but it also shows you on the Patreon page who deleted. Yes. And don't think I don't see that you delete. This is a message to my Patreon fans who deleted. I know where you are. And you deleted your paltry little contribution to me. When I see people delete $5 a month, to me, I say, let them go. Fuck them. All right, we have a great show.
Yes, we do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And now, Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
I had just washed and waxed my car the day before, and sure enough, the rain started coming down, ruining my washing and waxing as I went through puddles of the apocalypse. I had to pick up some Chinese food for me and my girl. So I turned off the meter and just went on a little bit of a food run. As I got into the car, I could feel my back. It got thrown out. My back got wrenched. And I was driving for the Chinese food, mushu pork, sweet and sour chicken, wonton soup, sweet and sour shrimp, sweet and sour pork, a lot of sweet and sour.
You're making me hungry.
But my back was killing me. I hunched over the steering wheel. The rain was coming down, downtown. All the people who were unhoused were getting smashed by the rain. All the people who were marginalized were getting completely devastated by the pin drop rain that fell, and it was like a needle. It was like a vaccination. It was a mandate. It was a mandate from above. The rain just going into people's skin like a vaccine that wouldn't work against the new variant. And I kept driving even though my back was making me scream. I was screaming, thinking about the tofu chow mein. That's right, I didn't get chicken chow mein this time. I got tofu, braised tofu, and that was the only thing that was keeping me going in this car. As I screamed in pain from my back, and I had to lay down and drive. And how I did that was I used a mirror. I used a rear view mirror to see out my front window, if you can imagine that, as I laid down to rest my back and drive. All of a sudden, the rain came down even harder. No longer was it just a vaccinating rain. It was a pulverizing rain. A rain that destroyed, a rain that was full of contempt for the human race, full of contempt for the pain I felt in my back. I was steering through a rear view mirror, seeing out the front, laying down, when I heard a police siren. The officer had his sirens on, and he said over his speaker, "How is this car being driven? I don't see anybody." And I used that against him. I kept driving. He didn't think there was anybody in the car. I made a quick right-hand turn, but I turned into a person on a motorcycle. And that person went flying. I couldn't stop. The Chinese food was ready. I had gotten a text through the DoorDash. Well, it wasn't DoorDash, or else that would have been delivered. I got a text through the pickup app that my food was ready. And even though I had hurt somebody on the motorcycle, sweet and sour chicken and sweet and sour pork and sweet and sour shrimp, they don't wait for no man. So I pulled up in front of the Chinese food station. The police were waiting for me. An ambulance was there for the motorcycle man. I got out of the car, and before the cop could cuff me, I picked up my food. And he went to cuff me, and I said, "Please, officer, it's sweet and sour pork. It's sweet and sour chicken. It's sweet and sour shrimp. It's tofu chow mein," which made him go, "Tofu chow mein? Why not chicken chow mein or beef chow mein?" And I said, "Yeah, I know. But do you mind if I just take the food home and eat it, and then we can discuss the injury that I caused and how I was driving? My back is killing me." I gave him the shrimp, sweet and sour, just to kind of pay him off, and he took it.
Bribing an officer.
And I drove home. My back, I had to eat the food. Laying down, I put on an episode of Forensic Files, watching a woman in Florida get murdered by a meth addict. And I ate and ate until I had to report to the police.
Thanks for joining us for Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, Kevin, we're lucky to have him because this man is the most censored Is it the most censored comedian, Lee? It's Lee Camp, by the way, and he had a show on RT, which was Russian financed, and he got fucking canceled. He got canceled, and he's here with us today, and I'm not going to let him say stuff that he said on the Russian net because, man, he went after people on the. Have you ever seen RT? What does RT stand for again? Lee, what does RT stand for again?
My RT initially there for their network stood for Russia Today, but my TV show was Redacted Tonight.
Right. Right.
But I always like for people to know that the reason I was there on RT was because I was never censored in any way. I wrote every word I ever said. I'm an American in America covering American news. And if they had ever told me to say anything or told me not to say anything, I would have left. And I wasn't allowed to do that and will never be allowed to do that on any other American network. So that's why I was there. And if anyone watched it, I was saying the same things I've been saying for 20 some odd years doing stand up. And you know, it's the same reason former Governor Jesse Ventura was there and former Pulitzer Prize winner Chris Hedges was there. And that's why we were there. Chris Hedges, by the way, is my guru. And I heard him say the same thing that you just said about RT. Chris Hedges, he said the reason I'm on RT is just what you said, is that I can't even get on PBS, and he made the point that PBS used to have Noam fucking Chomsky on.
Yeah,
they used, and now it's horrible. Like I don't know if you've seen PBS lately. It's just State Department talking points. Yeah. It's. They'll never go against anything that is U.S. standard propaganda. I mean, I've never seen them question it, even when it makes them look like ridiculous. Like I remember I saw one episode where they were putting forward that Cuba's hitting us with audio cannons and giving us brain parasites. And they did a whole segment on that. Wow. And then when they later find out that it's the noise that they said was the noise, what turned out to be crickets. What? Like literally crickets. They never said, "Wow, are we dumb?" Wow, is that right? Because I didn't know it turned out to be. I hear crickets all the time. I perform a lot, and there, crickets. I thought it was the Cubans as well, trying to fuck up my stand-up career. And my favorite part of that story was they said it caused a week of sleeplessness and light headaches in the diplomats because, that would serve Cuba's purposes to give a light headache to a low-level diplomat. Here's my Cuban impersonation. This is Raul Castro. We need to have them light headaches, not severe. Nobody wants a migraine. Light, like a little pounding, where you have to, take some juice. Anyway, you know what I mean. Fucking unbelievable. Has your YouTube videos also been erased? So the RT station was forced to shutter by U.S. sanctions somehow. It's unclear the specifics, but so they shut down, and within days, the Redacted Tonight YouTube channel that had 250,000 subscribers, it's banned globally, and all of the videos, over 1,000 videos, all banned globally. You can't watch them in any way, and wow, same time period, like within a week, my podcast Moment of Clarity is deleted from Spotify. What's really? I didn't know that. Yeah, even though my podcast Moment of Clarity, not RT produced, funded, nothing. Right, but you got labeled a Russian sympathizer, right? Yeah. Even though I said I'm opposed to the U.S. funding and arming, Nazis and proxy wars and stuff, but I'm also opposed to the Russian invasion, and I said I was from day one. But that didn't matter, Dude, the war merchants, the death cult, right? The Pentagon, the Raytheons, and the Northrop Grumman, and I mean the weapons it's like they have won. And this war in the Ukraine, they want it to go on as long as possible.
They want to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian. And it really is repulsive. It's like, if you want people not to die, you should want them all the parties to sit down and hash it out and come to a conclusion that doesn't involve bombing. And instead, the U.S. and the UK and others just want it to go on forever, as long as they want it to be, Russia's Vietnam. And it's fucking horrific.
That's right. And now they're forcing. Is this true? They're forcing Russia and China together, and they're like creating another Cold War, right? To justify all these military expenditures again. Is that your take?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a waning empire, and the U.S. empire is waning, and we're in late stage capitalism, and the petrodollar's losing some of its strength there, and so the U.S. wanted to force Russia's hand, to force some kind of invasion of Ukraine. I don't know if they thought it would be this extensive, but they wanted to force something so that they could sanction Russia into oblivion, cut off the Nord Stream 2 oil pipeline, cut off Russian oil to the UK, to NATO states. And they got all of that, but it's backfired. The sanctions, the ruble's stronger than ever. Russia and China are going forward with their alternate payment systems. And they're pushing us closer to nuclear Armageddon. I don't know how many Twinkies we're supposed to have in the basement right now, but I don't have enough. And like we are within, the nuclear scientists say we're 100 seconds from midnight or whatever, which is nuclear oblivion.
The doomsday clock.
It's like nobody in their right mind should want any of this. It's anti-American to not want Americans to survive.
Yeah.
You just said it's anti-American to want Americans to live, because this whole tact that America's taking is getting us close to the brink of nuclear war. And but the American people are just like, no, Russia should be like the consent has been manufactured so beautifully. I remember, I think it was Chomsky who said, we are the most propagandized nation on the face of the earth, which most Americans would say, are you fucking crazy? We have a free press.
Yeah, clearly not. Clearly, if RT gets shut down, we do not have a free press. One of the funniest in this new age of McCarthyism, which, by the way, I think like 10 years ago, we used to talk about McCarthyism like it was a dangerous, awful time. And now everybody seems to be waving their McCarthyist flags.
Yes,
like, hey, the party's back in town. But that same week when they deleted all of our videos and all that stuff, they started putting Russia state-affiliated media on a bunch of people's Twitter accounts. Luckily, they didn't do it to mine. And it's on every tweet you post. It's not just in your bio. Every tweet says Russia-affiliated media. And they did this to reporters who were no longer at RT, had no affiliation to. But my favorite one was they did this to Ed Schultz' Twitter account. Ed Schultz,
he died,
was
right?
The MSNBC host who was well known on MSNBC. Yeah. Then he was on RT for 2 years, and then he's been dead since 2018.
Good.
And they added it to his Twitter account 4 years after his death. And he hasn't tweeted since 2018, but apparently now he's Russian media.
Yeah, well, they're not taking any chances because the dead tell no tales, but you never know. They really fucked up, I would think, your living as well. Like, that's a big dent in your whole thing, right? What are you doing to get around that?
Well,
Rockfin?
I mean, yeah, Well, I've been busking on street corners.
By the way, people who don't know what busking is, you're dead to me. Because if you haven't busked, you haven't lived. That means you're performing outdoors amongst pigeons and passerbys. And Philippe Petit, who walked between the Twin Towers, terrific documentary, Man on a Wire, he started busking. Okay, and then he eventually walked between the Twin Towers, which were eventually knocked down by a lot of Saudi Arabians who are still very good friends. We're still very good friends with Saudi Arabia.
Very tight.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm doing my live stream account. I have another YouTube page, youtube.com/Moment of Clarity. I'm going to be starting something with Mint Press, but it hasn't started yet. Probably starting in a month. They're a great online outfit that also has been attacked there recently. Their PayPal was deleted. Their Indiegogo was shut down, basically just for being good independent reporters. But I'll be starting something with them online. And then the other thing is, if people go to leecamp.net, it's basically like Patreon, but it's more of a community. And also, I got nervous being on Patreon because Patreon also has been deleting journalists for
Patreon?
nothing. I mean, they won't give them a reason. They just say they've violated their policy or so.
Good God.
Like, what a period of censorship we are in. I mean, Julian Assange just wastes away in jail, literally wastes away in jail.
Yeah.
For being the most accurate journalist to ever live.
Yep.
Nothing WikiLeaks ever published had a single word proven false or wrong. Compare that to CNN or Fox News or NBC. They can't go 10 minutes without something being retracted or changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I can't stand still are my friends, barely call them friends at this point, who still blame, like, oh, well, why did Assange leak that shit about Hillary right before the election? You know, that whole shit, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's just, these fucking people who still believe in Democrats, mainstream corporate Dems, are just, in other words, oh, well, fucking Hillary lost the election because of Julian Assange is just so ignorant. Or because of Bernie Bros. I love that.
Well, not even to mention, if you're upset that stuff came out about Hillary, why not ask Hillary not to be a crook?
Yes.
Why not? Why not say that? Hey, Hillary, don't have crooked documents, and then you won't have to worry about this. But also, do you remember for a week after the election, they blamed someone else for her loss? They blamed FBI Director James Comey. Because he reopened the case against Hillary a week before the election. They say he did it. But then 1 week went by, and apparently the Democrats decided that it's a bad idea to go up against the FBI. So they switched to James Comey didn't do it. Russia did it. And now James Comey is somehow the liberal icon,
Yeah, nothing like that's the time we live in, right? Where the FBI is considered our liberal it's unbelievable, dude. I was thinking, what do you think of this? That Roe v. Wade being overturned is actually going to wake a lot of idiots up.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the idiots will see that, hey, fascism, you don't care about Julian Assange, you stupid motherfuckers. And by the way, my Patreon subscribers, not you. Anyway, you don't care about Julian Assange?
In order for them to wake up, I think these people need to realize, and as a former idiot myself, it can happen. I hope these people realize that the Democrats over decades could have codified Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
they could have passed. First of all, they could have put it in the Constitution, Roe v. Wade, or women's rights to choose. But furthermore, today, Joe Biden could Put abortion clinics on federal land in red states.
Wow.
Meaning there'd be abortion clinics there for people. B, he could announce a fucking 1-800 toll-free number. You call us, we send you free abortion pills overnight with a smile on our face. Or C, they could offer a fund to help people get the bus ride to the state next door. Or whatever else they need. They could have all kinds of telehealth services, finding out how to help women who are in abuse situations get the help they need. All these things they can do. They're not doing any of it.
Nothing.
None of it. They just want to raise money. They're just sending out emails saying, send us money.
Yeah. Tell me why the Democrats would. I can't figure that out. I'm serious. Why don't they want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, so there are a few who are talking about it. I know Elizabeth Warren has mentioned some of it, but a lot of them, I think, they don't really care about women. I mean, the rich are out for the rich, and Congress is the rich, and they are defending the rich. And the truth is that most wealthy women will get an abortion if they need one.
Absolutely.
They can fly to other states, they can get specialized doctors, whatever it is, they can afford the best back alley procedures, whatever it is.
Right behind Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Gucci back room is notorious. I mean, they have the hangers.
Oh yeah, and they're beautiful. Yeah.
So the truth is, this is most harmful to poorer women. Not necessarily, you don't have to be dirt poor, but poorer women. And I think, the oligarchy is the oligarchy. And also they can use this issue. They don't think Biden's got a chance in hell of winning the next election unless they have an issue like this to run on.
The silver lining of all this shit is that the worse it gets, are you going to finally realize that the so-called Democrats really don't have your best interests at heart, that we're ruled by one party? It's a one-party fucking government, but people are so what can we do? Because I have now made a podcast. I called it "You're on Apocalypse Soon." I call it. It's a terrific.
I like that.
It's a very witty title.
Yeah.
I've been a wordsmith for years.
Absolutely.
I was brought up.
Did you consider Apocalypse? Wow.
I didn't, but that's because I didn't have you. I had this guy help me.
Yeah.
But I'm a wordsmith. My father was a wordsmith. His grandfather worked in a stable, wordsmith. He used to put wordsmiths on horses. But what fucking can we do? Hedges always talks about it's got to be massive, nonviolent civil disobedience.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen? It could.
Yeah, I think Tuesday. I think they were
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm busy. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen. I certainly hope it is. But I will say there are some things that give me a little bit of hope.
Yeah, tell me.
And one is the wave of unionization that is sweeping across America. Starbucks, there's Chipotle's, there's Amazon warehouses there, and it just keeps spreading. It's like a good infection in the mind as people are realizing that's a possibility, and the people fighting for that. Of course, there's environmental activists across the country that get zero media coverage.
Zero.
Indigenous environmentalists standing up in a big way. There's, things like Extinction Rebellion that's interrupting business as usual. There's divestment campaigns like BDS and divesting from big oil and shit like that. So there's a lot of things to take hope in, but those movements have to keep growing, and people have to join them and have to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's scary, It's scary because we see the police state. We see, people. I just see people in their homes, in their apartments, watching cops brutalize demonstrators, and go, "That's something I'd like to do." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
people are, the people who are still comfortable, right? They have no interest in partaking in that kind of stuff. And speaking of the environmentalists, I remember that a couple of scientists chained themselves to like I think it was a Wells Fargo bank in downtown LA.
Oh, wow.
And they showed a video of the cops responding to like 4 scientists, 4 academics chained to Wells Fargo. And there was a phalanx of cops just marching toward them.
Jesus.
Like they were going toward,
Yeah. So. And that's a great example. Peter Kalmus is one of them. He's a NASA scientist that was arrested down there, and I had him on my moment of clarity.
Oh, well, good for you. Good for you. Go ahead.
Not to name drop, but I know NASA scientists who chain their necks to banks.
Yeah.
Bastard always has to one-up me. Go ahead.
But what I like about his story, not just that he's a NASA climate scientist, but the fact that he's like an average American in that he never saw himself as needing to get arrested or choosing to chain his fucking neck to a bank. He's a dad who wanted to crunch numbers in a nerdery all day. Yeah. And here he is saying, oh, we are fucked. And the only chance we have is for me and so many others to put our bodies on the line and interrupt this system. And in some ways that woke up a lot of people that scientists are now getting arrested. In other ways, he did mention that he had cleared his schedule to do interviews on mainstream media, and not one outlet wanted to talk to him.
Wow.
So that shows what garbage our mainstream media is. But it gives me, people like him give me hope. These are not, as they say, hardcore activists, whatever that means. But these are regular dudes with fucking SUVs in the driveway and electric SUVs and above ground pools and shit like that. And they're like, I need to go get in the way of business as usual.
You know what I tell audiences, Lee, is I don't have any kids, right? Thank God. Do you have kids, Lee?
Yeah, I have one. So, one of those new ones.
Oh, shit. So you have skin in the game, because I tell audiences, and Kevin has 2 kids.
Yeah.
I tell audiences, folks, I time my life right. I am going to die soon, which means I am going to escape the horrors. I also don't have children. And it seems to me that the people, they have to fight the generations to come, right? Like the bit is that I'm like, look, this is my impersonation of parents talking to their children right now. Nancy, you're going to have to learn how to flee. All right? That's why I'm enrolling you in the flee class, how to flee and how to gather up important documents in less than 30 seconds.
You're going to have to learn how to siphon petrol out of a gas tank with a foot-long length of hose. So don't make a face when you're sucking the petrol out.
Don't make a face. Oh, my God. I don't have any, you know what I mean? Like my dog will be dead, it looks like, before me as well. So what, I basically fight for nature, though. Like I'm a vegan, even though I've had a tough time lately with that. But I can't bear seeing animals just consumed in this horrific environmental shit that goes on, because they've had no choice. They've had no choice in the matter. We have just, we keep building. The global warming is...
I did... These are some of the many segments I did on Redacted Tonight that have now been deleted forever. But I did several segments on factory farming, the horrific nature of it. But also,
are you
even
vegan?
If you don't give a... What's up?
Are you vegan?
Vegetarian.
Okay. Go ahead.
But even if I don't eat meat, but even if you don't give a shit about an animal, guess what? Their factory farming is uniquely horrific to the planet. Just destroying, creating ocean dead zones, creating droughts,
methane,
just fucking horrific shit. Yeah. And it's all coming from factory farming. So.
Boy, that doesn't get much coverage on CBS. Or
who do you think advertises?
Yeah.
Burger joints.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Lee, tell us again. I want to thank you for coming on. Tell us again how people can fucking see you now and hear your wisdom.
Thanks, man. I'm live. I do live streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and that's at rumble.com/LeeCamp and YouTube/Moment of Clarity. And then my supporter page is LeeCamp.net. It's called Locals. It's similar to Patreon, except there's more interaction, more you can post yourself and those kind of things. So it's LeeCamp.net.
Oh, that's great, man. All right, Lee. By the way, I think it's hilarious that you can just put up another channel on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
There's something very funny about that to me. Hey, is this the same fucking guy? This is the YouTube people. Is this the same fucking guy? I don't know, Al. I don't know. It's the same name.
It's insane.
Luckily, they... Except for Spotify deleting Moment of Clarity, there hasn't been any other things where they're like, wait a second, that's him on Twitter. So
motherfucker.
Luckily, they've left me alone. Also, my Facebook page has been shadow banned since I think 2016, so they took care of that a long time ago.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Lee, for coming on, baby, and hopefully we'll see each other one of these days in person.
I hope so. Thanks a lot, Eddie.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming on, Lee.
Bye, Lee.
Later.
That was the great Lee Camp, everybody, who fights the good fucking fight.
Absolutely, man. Good God, that was like so much.
He fights the good fucking fight, and this, it's unbelievable, right? How people are getting censored and banned. And everybody doesn't give a fuck, like most people.
That's the truth. It's such man, I don't know. That was like that was so much painful truth. Like it really, that was like. I mean,
are you okay?
I'm seriously.
I can't lose
just
you.
Like no.
And it's not so much for your intellect. It's you do some very important things here. You man the email, which is just spam.
I know. I got to make sure, they keep sending me boner pill commercials and liposuction. And we even got a prepaid funeral thing the other day on there.
Prepaid?
Yes.
Save that.
I will.
Save that for me. Don't delete that one.
I will. It's a special, it seems like a good deal.
Yeah, my dad is getting close.
Okay.
And I could go at any second as well. Yep. I have a pain, by the way, in my neck. Anyway,
it's probably
we'll be right back. We have a lot of funny segments.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As you can see after that interview with Lee, there's a lot of fun to be had.
That's right.
In this fascist, crumbling, ecological disaster we call home.
We are putting the sugar on the shit. We are sweetening this bad boy up. This turd is getting tasty.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody. You're listening to Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside.
And now, open your third eye and cleanse your chakras with guided meditation with Eddie Pepitone.
What you just heard was me letting out tremendous anxiety, and welcome everybody to guided meditation. Okay, I hope everybody has on extremely loose fitting clothing. That's very important. You never see a meditator or a yoga person in like tight corduroys or a wool vest. you don't see that. You see, hemp pants and hemp shirts, or even things that are more natural than hemp. Like some people will just wear water-based pants, water-based shirts, or just they'll wrap a very, very large amount of asparagus around themselves, as long as it's loose and natural. All right, so here we go with your first in-breath. Your first in-breath. I want you to breathe in the fact that your body hurts. You have a pinched nerve in your neck. And if you don't have any of these things, you're really not living. But you have a pinched nerve in your neck. You feel something in your colon. You're not sure what it is. It's a sharp thing, though. It may be something you played with in a sexual romp, or it may be something internal that is waiting to kill you. Breathe in the fact that your body is not doing well, from your foot to the top of your head. And feet hurt. My ankle, well, you don't need to know about me, but I have such swelling on my ankle that I had to get my ankle registered with the DMV. Just breathe in the fact that things are swelling up on you, things are inflamed, and it's all part of you. Breathe that in. Now, with your out breath, I want you to breathe out the fact that you're constantly being surveilled by the surveillance state. We are the most surveilled population ever on the planet. All of your emails, all of your phone calls, all of your movements, all of your purchases, all of your political views, all of your texts, your posts on social media, they're being monitored by bureaucrats, by useful idiots. And when the fascist comes, if you've said anything untoward, you will be put in an open-air prison. Breathe that out. Breathe it out. Not in, out. A lot of you make the mistake of breathing in when I say breathe out. And you're going to die of asphyxiation if you do that, okay? So, speaking of asphyxiation, with your next in-breath, I want you to just imagine someone suffocating you with a pillow, because with the Supreme Court decision about the EPA, who by the way was an ineffective agency anyway, but now they're even more neutered. The EPA can't regulate coal plants or power plants, and the pollution will be like getting a pillow pushed on your face until you're dead. Breathe that in. Breathe in the fact that there will be nothing to breathe in soon. Just breathe that in, especially if you live in a low-income area. There's going to be nothing to breathe in soon. Breathe it in, especially with the oxygenation of the oceans, the acidification of the oceans, the tearing down of the Amazon, the lungs of the earth. We're not going to be able to breathe anymore. Breathe that in with your light-fitting clothing. If you are wearing Brussels sprout pants or an asparagus shirt, or just basically, like a white grape vest, whatever you're wearing, hopefully it's loose fitting. And now with your out breath, I want you to imagine that you're being murdered. You're being murdered in your car by someone who's carjacking you because his family has run out of food. And he has no other choice. And you're just a random victim. I want you to breathe that out, that your life is going to end violently. Breathe that out. Ooh. not in, out. Oh, there we go. There's the out breath. Okay. And now, with your last in breath, and I mean very, very last in breath, I want you to breathe in the fact that war will never be stopped in this country because we live in a permanent war economy. We're now promoting a proxy war against Russia. China is now aligned with Russia. Just more death. Breathe that in. Breathe that in. That's right. Breathe. Breathe that in. Sorry about the cough. Breathe that. If you have to cough, cough. We don't have a cough button, which a lot of studios have. We have the opposite. The button we push makes you cough. All right, now with your final out breath, I want you to realize that your life was in vain. Completely in vain. Totally pointless. Existentially vain. Narcissistically vain. You're so vain, as Carly Simon once said. I remember Carly Simon doing a concert from Martha's Vineyard. You can Google that on YouTube, and she was singing You're So Vain. And I thought to myself, oh, Martha's Vineyard, Carly's doing well. Anyway, breathe that out, that your life was totally in vain. You're so vain. You probably think this meditation was about you. You're so vain. I bet you think this meditation was about you.
Thanks for joining us for Guided Meditation with Eddie Pepitone.
All right, everybody, that was our show. And once again, I think we pretty much hammered the nail in the coffin for our species, certainly for our country. And Kev, did you enjoy yourself?
I had a blast. Always do, man. It was a great time. Yeah, that coffin, no more room for nails. We got all the nails in.
Yeah, the coffin has been nailed shut, folks. So just, have yourself a nice beer, a Pabst Blue Ribbon, a PBR.
Ooh, love it all.
And sit back in your lounge chair and watch The Housewives of the Apocalypse. That would be a good show. The Housewives of the Apocalypse.
The real housewives.
The real Housewives of the Apocalypse. And don't forget to become a Patreon member. And by the way, when you become a Patreon member, I see who deletes. I talked about this earlier. All right. Now, how do people become a Patreon member?
Go to patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. And you go there because you love the show, right? You love the show.
And you want to contribute something.
Yeah, you want to give back to the show. And we appreciate it. And we see you. And it feels good. But, don't sit there and be like, I'll only be a Patreon if I really get, a lot of gold out of this. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, they'll only give the money and then they go, I'm not getting enough out of my 12 cents that I send every week. It's like, take care of your
folks,
boys here.
Of course you're going to get some swag, And matter of fact, me and Kevin's going to tape me this week. I am going to be at the Elysian Theater this Saturday. Well, by the time this airs, it'll be done. But we're going to release just private video to our Patreon members.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say I'll be in San Diego at the Soda Bar July 10th, and I'll be in Salt Lake City at the Metro Music Hall July 7th. So please come to that and write a review, right, Kev? Where
Yeah,
can I
right.
write a review?
Write a review on iTunes or wherever you listen. If you've already written some reviews, go ahead and write a review on somebody else's podcast about how great this podcast is. And it creates a nice synergy with everybody. And then send us an email to EddiePepPodcast. EddiePepPodcast@gmail.com. And
We're not getting enough emails.
We're not getting
that
enough.
again. Give that again.
EddiePepPodcast@gmail.com. And say hi or send us an email, or if you got anything.
Yeah, because all we're getting is spam in the email box, and it's all about erections. Like how big can my erections get at this point? I'm ordering because you don't send in email. I keep answering the erection people, and now my erection, it's 24 hours a day. I knock over furniture.
Yeah. Well,
It's
a lot
ridiculous.
of women complain it's too big. It's too big.
A lot of women.
A lot of women. A lot.
Hey, that's too big.
That penis is too big. A lot of
Rosie, just get me a cup of fucking coffee.
a lot of
Don't
masculine.
start talking about my cock again, Rosie.
Hey, that cock of yours, Peppertone, is too goddamn big. It's too thick and hard.
Oh, God. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside, zero upside, nil, naught, negative.